Today on the show we have an amazing lady. I'm surprised she is not Miss World, Miss Universe, or at least Miss Philippines. She had a range of roles in her life, and today she will be talking to us having that purpose, that why in your life. Welcome to Talkex, Ordinary to Extraordinary. My name is Rohit Basi, your host. Welcome to Talkex, Elisa. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us for the show.
Well, I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I'm also intrigued what this is going to be like.
Well, let's start off with you being a high flyer.
Whoa, yeah, high flyer. That seems to be
literally you were a high flyer.
Yeah, that's like millions of years ago. That's like another lifetime ago. So yes, I came here to Dubai as a cabin crew with Emirates. 1995 until 2008. So it was a wonderful experience.
Wow. And in your time being in Emirates, what did you learn in Emirates? What in developing yourself?
Well, I think one of the best things that I'd say I'd always be grateful with Emirates is the attention to details and customer service. You know, it's really important to always put yourself in the customer's shoes, because you'll never know when someone's traveling. It's so varied. It could be for happy reasons, sad, or so you always don't assume that you know your customers. You have to learn how to listen, pay attention, and based on that, deliver a really, really good service.
And that's something which you bring in your current business, which we're going to talk about in a while.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, you were not always in Emirates. You did something else as a qualification.
Yes, some people call it like...
Mad scientist?
No, not quite there. But yes, I was a pharmacist back home. So I'm a licensed pharmacist. I was intending to go to med school, but I was in a hurry to start earning money. That happens when you're the 9th out of 9 children. You just want to break out of there, expand your wings, yeah.
Okay, so and that's how you got into Emirates from...
Well, yeah, so I finished school, I got my license, and then there was an opening for Emirates, and I applied, and out of 800 people, there were like 12 of us, and I was one of the fortunate ones to get picked. So
it's been Emirates, background has been a pharmacist, mad scientist.
Some would say drug pusher, yeah. Let's not go there.
I'm a bit more polite than that. And then you started doing your own business.
Yes.
And it's a very interesting business because from the outset, what we could call it's a yoga studio and Pilates studio, but it's more than that. Tell us about it. How did you get into it? Why did you get into it? Because there's some purpose behind this.
Absolutely. So let's start with the why.
Yep.
Okay. The why is, it stemmed out of the need from when I was also flying. It was really important for me to find that balance of work and self-care. So yoga was one of the software, or the ways that I could take care of myself. And what I realized is that with yoga as well, you change people's mindset, then they start taking good care of themselves better, having a better attitude when stress hits you. So we thought, like, what better way to get into a business but to help change people's life by changing the way how they look at themselves first, and then how they would be looking outside in the world and how they would interact with the world.
And in order to get into the business, did you go and educate yourself in about yoga and Pilates, or was just like, I'm just going to run the business and get people on board? How did it all start off?
Well, definitely. I took lessons, so I have 500 hours training for yoga. I'm a Pilates certified teacher, Mat 1 and 2. I have done fitness instructors and all these things in preparation. And before I even went into the business, I actually spent time learning how to run a business by going to one of my good friends that owns a few yoga studios in the Philippines and just watching how operations is, operations in action, so that I would know what to expect, not just what my idea of what running a business is.
Okay, that's very interesting, and this is what Talkex is all about, providing that extra to the people who are doing their MBAs online and doing their doctorates. And one aspect which you've just brought up is the practicality of things.
Absolutely.
And you going out there and knowing how business runs rather than just jumping in is a good way to look at, is this really a business for me to do or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and even now I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I think this is the important thing, the landscape of the business and the way how people think and the way how people also spend their money. If you're as a business, you also need to sort of like understand that, and then you have to adopt your business to ensure that you're still catering to what people need, what people want.
From what I understand, currently you have 2 studios.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And this is in a time frame of, I think it's about 10 years?
It'll be 8 years.
8 years.
In September, yeah.
8 years in September. Okay, anniversary to celebrate.
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
well, awesome. Has it been smooth sailing?
Absolutely not. I have to say, the first year would have been like quite hard. I mean, I'd say hard, more challenging, because people don't know who we were. So you have to sort of like build that trust and relationship. And that happens with the years. And also understanding how to run the business. Like, yes, I did do the practical side in the Philippines, but the thing is different here. The audience is different. So people travel here so often, the whole operations over summer just really slows down, because most of our clients, especially where Almanara is, are moms. And then when it's kids' holidays, they go. So it was a learning process, and it is continuously a learning process for me. Yeah.
And in these challenges you've had, what would you say has been the toughest one for you in terms of business, in terms of mentally and emotionally?
I would say that the talents that we have, like for example, to have full-time yoga teachers means they will all have to be teaching many of the classes. So the way how I went in my mindset here is to bring variety as much as possible. So yes, I do have one main teacher who's full-time with us, and the rest are freelance. And also understanding that we're all here trying to be a business, whether it's the yoga teachers or the studio itself. So they're building their own brand. So trying to navigate on the way, of course they will self-promote, which is required so that they will be successful as well. Because and trying to change the mindset of we don't own anybody here. What we could do is provide an atmosphere for everyone to be able to flourish and bring in the support. And this is one thing that I'm really, really proud of what we do. Most of the top teachers here in Dubai have actually started with us and have built and learned, and we love them, and we'll always be supportive of them even when they spread their wings and go anywhere else. It's like a mom being proud of your children. Yeah.
And what about the emotional and mental side when you faced all these when you faced challenges? How have you coped with that?
Well, I'd say 3 things. Okay. One would be having someone like my husband who's super supportive, that we talk about these things. He doesn't really stress much about things, which is lovely, because I'm a little bit more on the fiery side. And then also always thinking about what would it be like if I was in their shoes, and not taking things personally. That, understanding that people will act the way how they act for the purpose, because this is their lives as well. So you have to respect that, and I just don't take things personally.
Okay, fair enough.
And the third one, okay, is also having time to actually switch off from the business and doing something that you truly entertain, just even if it's the silliest thing.
And what is those silly things?
Jumping on and off the trampoline, dancing when no one's looking, that sort of thing, and doing karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll go a little bit more into the business side in a while, but before we do that, Talkex is something which Exceed College has created, and their focus is on online learning. They focus on MBAs and doctorates. All is online.
Yeah.
You being in business, you being educated, the level you've been educated to, you working for Emirates, in your view, in all these years, how important is it for an individual to educate themselves on ongoing learning, lifelong learning?
Super, super important. Even when I was like flying for Emirates, I was also studying. I was studying like IATA customer service, airline finance and stuff, because you know, you always need to equip yourself. Life will change, but do the things that you love. Like even up to now, I'm also studying, and I think makes your life and your purpose a lot more clearer when you know, yes, we know something, but we don't know everything. And things and education and new discoveries are always there, and it's always good to know what's happening. Yeah.
And at the moment, you said you are educating yourself. Is it this through online learning? Is it face-to-face? How are you going about doing this at the moment?
So this one of the great things that came out of COVID was like opening up a lot more online learning that was not available before COVID. So now I'm doing the Functional Health Academy coaching. It's online. We meet like 3 times a month, 2 hours each, every Thursdays. We call it the LTS, live trainings, yeah.
Okay.
And it's great. So we have online materials that we take care and have to learn on our own free time. And then we have our actual live training where we then test whether we're actually learning. we're rereading the materials and applying it to coaching, yeah.
Is it by any chance when it's online, no, my video's not working, I can't hear you, I can't.
No, actually I love our sessions. Yeah. I hate it when I miss it. Mm-hmm. But I guess there's a silver lining. Whenever we miss any of our LTS, we have to do a makeup session. So we end up going with other groups, and then doing it with other groups just for that one session opens up to new learning, the way how they do things differently. So yeah, but I love my sessions, my learning live training sessions.
So as I'm listening to you, there's this one word keeps on coming up. Finding your purpose, the why, do what you enjoy, do what you like. And my question to you is, why is this so important? Because I've heard John, your husband, talk about this as well. And even with the way he runs the organization he's been in from a purpose perspective.
Yeah.
And you also have this strong take about purpose, the why. Why is this so important?
Well, it's so essential, because you wouldn't want to be existing in this world without a purpose. It gives you the direction. And your purpose are the things that make you happy. They're the things that make you want to get up in the morning really excited, and you know that it's something, a legacy that you will leave behind. You want to leave a mark on people's lives. For me, that's my personal purpose, making sure that I've done something, either changing mindset by educating people how to live life better, healthier, or just by living as an example to my nieces and nephews, the young generation, of what really is important in life. Because right now there's too much noise, way too much noise, and saying, oh, you have to look like this, you have to own this. When really, if you cut all of those fluff, what really is the most important thing? You know, your health, your family, things that make you happy, things that excites you, whether it's learning, whether it's working with the less privileged one, or challenging yourself, jumping off the cliff on a, whatever makes you,
with safety,
whatever
people,
fire,
with safety.
of course, whatever fires your soul. I think that's so important.
So it's all about fire, having that fires your soul. And when I'm coaching people, one of the things, or even when I'm doing some certain sessions, people often talk about they're suffering from the imposter syndrome. They feel like a fraud. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, of course. And I think everyone does that, because we always think that we should be more than what we are, which is wrong. We should be just who we are, the best version of ourselves, which will come in time if we actually take the time to learn first what's important, forget what everyone else says. And that's my take on that, yeah.
Because one of the things which I notice is it doesn't matter which industry, and even in the wellness health industry which you're part of, everyone wants results really like that. What is your take on that?
All good things take time, yeah. And just like being, for example, a coach, how can you coach someone if it's only the things that you've learned through textbook? You have to have the life experiences. As a yoga teacher, how can you teach to do a headstand if you don't even know how to do it yourself, and if you don't understand the struggles to get there? It's not even about like the physicality of the struggle. It's about the mindset, why it's important, That, of course, for some people, it's the physicality, it's a challenge. Even with that, things take time. You have like 10 falls, 100 falls before you get like a proper good headstand. Things take time.
You can do a headstand?
Not as well, not very long.
I thought you were going to teach me how to do one. That is one thing I'm not able to do. I can do a headstand, but not, a handstand I'm unable to do.
Yeah, I think as maybe when I was way younger, those are the things that excites me with the practice partly. But now it's just about being present in everything that I do. When I get onto my yoga mat, I completely shut everything in. Most of the time I practice with my eyes closed, even if it's a group exercise, because I'm getting in myself as opposed to paying attention to the outward.
So the word which I'd like to say is like you're mindful, you're in the moment, you're present.
Present.
And I think during the COVID period, that's some people have started to understand that, and many still are learning about being present. Now, with your evolution of yourself, started with yoga, Pilates, build up your studios. But one of the things which you have been recently talking a lot about is gut health. I'm sure you've been talking about it in the past, but you're doing more and more of it.
Yeah.
Why gut health? Why is it important for someone who's doing their work, doing their classes online, or who's even a mother or runs a business, traveling up and down? Why gut health is so important?
So firstly, everything that we put in our body from external is coming through our mouth into our gut. That's the majority. This is what we do: food, medicine, water, okay? If our guts are not working properly, first think about like the enzyme that would help digest the food. Think about the microbiomes. These are the good and bad guys residing in there in your stomach. Think about the linings of your stomach. If these things are not working properly, you will have chances where you develop inflammation, and inflammation affects a lot in our functionality, physiology. Then you get to have like things that are not supposed to go through your gut barrier going all the way to your brain, and that's another thing that we don't want to do. Or if you're not digesting things properly, can you imagine something staying in your system and not being, digest properly? Again, that creates another problem. So it's really important.
Okay. And in terms of, I mean, a person, a student or a housewife or anyone out there, what is that one thing you would tell them to how they could possibly improve their gut health? Because it impacts everything. Health is wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, eat foods that are closest to its original form.
So none of this box stuff.
Well, none of the box stuff that has like 20 or 40 ingredients that you can't even spell or pronounce. Those are not real foods. Those are foods that are just put together from scraps or different chemicals to make it taste better and get you more addicted to it. I think that's the very first step, and I think everyone can do that. Eat real food.
When you look at it from a business perspective, purely business, because this is, I can see this is purely coming from the why, the purpose. How does this align with your business goals and business objectives in running what you do?
I have to be very, very candid and honest with you. The last few years with the COVID has not been easy, you know. But we are very blessed that John has we have a source of income that could help us sustain the business. And there were a lot of times when it was like, oh, is it really worth it now? You know, it's just very challenging to maintain things, especially with this whole social distancing or even the closing where we were still paying our staff because we know that they also have bills to pay, right? But it comes to, I think the bottom line is, firstly, how much is enough? Okay. You could always think like, you know, I could be earning more money, I should be saving more. But if you have more than enough and then you can give something to help people even reach like some sort of like peace during the tough times, then for us, that is a great thing. Yeah.
So it's more from a purpose of the reason for doing diversifying is not just the business perspective, it's more looking at the people you're taking care of through the business.
Yes.
Okay. So it's again going back to the purpose. It's not just about running. It's not about the numbers.
The numbers is there, but there are more important
There's
things
more important things.
than the numbers.
We're dealing with human life.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. One of the things which I truly, truly admire about you is you being a Filipino, you being a woman and being able to achieve all these things in your life so far. And I've discovered through my own journey, and I love working with women for a simple reason is because many women say to me, I need to be empowered. And I say to them, you don't need empowerment, you already have it. You just need a bit of support and some encouragement. What are your thoughts to women who believe they need that support of a man or the empowerment of a man? What would you say to them?
I would say that, you know, we are more than what we generally think we are. And that's why it's so important that we know ourselves. Okay? When we do that, you will find out that you're more than enough. And yes, you will always, a support is always nice. Being part of the community is always nice. Having a family that supports you or friends that support you is always nice. It is important, but you have to start from yourselves first. Take the first step and the rest will come.
So for those women, what would you define is that first step they can take to realize they are enough? I understand, yes, we all need support, we all need the community, but it all starts with us.
Yes, within. Yeah.
So what would you say to the ladies out there, and I think this goes for the men as well.
Yeah.
What is that one step, or maybe more than one step you can suggest, to find out that you're more than enough?
I would say that no one will ever be like you, Bert. There's only one of you. There's only one of me.
Yeah.
And all of us have a specific purpose in this life. So knowing that should make every single human being feel pretty special and empowered. You know.
Elisa, I want to say thank you very much. We started off with purpose and the why, and we end up on a purpose and a why. Thank you so much for your insight and your practical wisdom. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Always good to have a chat with you.
Thank you.